LO4 Homicide Statistics by Jeanette Williams. What was the problem that I was asked to analyse? So a journalist from the Guardian newspaper wanted to find out what the statistics of the homicide rate through the UK were. So I was tasked with finding out all the information that they could use easily to write a newspaper article with, so that they could highlight how many homicides occurred in each police force area and region, so that they could make an article about it. What information or data was required to address it? So I needed to go to this website here. It's a government website. I went to the Crime and Justice section, where I downloaded the data set. I then applied a filter on Excel, which allowed me to modify it so I could easily find the correct data that I wanted, and not just data for every single crime committed in the UK. How was this captured? I captured the results by turning data into graphs, such as this graph, which shows the amount of homicides committed over the last 10 years, which is a simple and easy format for many people to understand. After that, on the next slide, there is a description about what the graph shows in more detail. What processing was necessary? I used this formula on Excel: equals if sum, bracket C, colon C. This then calculated the amount of homicides for each police force area, for each region, and for each year. I selected all of the relevant data which would help me answer the question, so I could find out the relevant information. Such as this graph here, which is the amount of homicides committed year on year. What are the outcomes from processing of the information? The outcomes I found were there was a decline in crime from 2008 to 2014, which raised again in 2016, but since has dropped from 2017. The highest homicide rate was found in the Metropolitan Police Force area, who had 5,076 homicides occurring, whereas the lowest was the City of London Police Force area, who only have had 43 homicides occur in the last 10 years. I also found the highest homicide rate by region. It is 3,928, which is quite a lot. I discounted the region of London because it did not class as a region. British Transport Police only had 119 homicides occur. Over the last 10 years, the first quarter has been the most homicide occurring quarter out of the four. 5,190 homicides have occurred in London over the last 10 years. Whereas in Wales, 1,258 homicides have occurred in Wales over the last 10 years. This has statistically led to Wales being more likely for you to be murdered in than London due to population density. As this slide shows, you are 25% more likely to be murdered in Wales than you are in London. You're only 16% likely to have a chance of being murdered in 10 years in London, so that's a 10% difference. 2016, there were 3,425 homicides occurring nationwide, which has been the highest amount in the last 10 years. yeah. How did it meet the client's needs? Journalists wanted to know what the rate of homicides in the UK was. I gathered all of the relevant information. I told the journalist what the homicide rate was in my last presentation, the LO4 presentation, and I gave their article something to specifically focus on, and they can reference other facts that I found out if needed. Such as the graphs that I have created. They'll also be able to display them easily so the reader is able to engage with what I have said. How might they be used by the client? They'll be able to produce an article with the data that I've found, and they'll be able to create a detailed analysis on what could be causing these trends. They may want to create a document of how the rates have changed. E.g. in 2012 there were less homicides, possibly due to the Olympics. And in 2016 there was a greater amount of homicides, possibly due to the events of Brexit. Why is this useful? This is useful because people may be interested in reading an article and getting a general perspective of how safe their region is and how safe other regions are. And if they are a prospective house buyer, that might be interesting for them, especially if they've got a young family. So they can check crime and homicide statistics, as it says there. What makes it effective? It's effective because all of the data is accurate and has been collected from an unbiased source, the unbiased source being the government, and it has been checked by a Excel formula, making sure that there is no mistakes in the spreadsheet. It's been separated into different groups, meaning that none of the data has been mislaid or misrepresented, and it can be compared against each other for a detailed analysis or summary. The graphs I've also made can make the information easier to read for the reader if they need that.